So welcome. My name is Emma Elliot. My offering today consists of a restorative posture of your choice. I've got two options which I can give you or talk you through. Then we're going to move on to a 10 points practice. So if you have not done so already, perhaps you'd like to gather around you some pillows or blankets or towels. I've got a rolled up towel here, which I'm going to use to support my back. I've got some pillows and a folded blanket to support my chest. I'm a yoga teacher, so I have a bolster in my house, but if you have something other than that, then perhaps you can grab that for yourself. And as we do that, we then can come down just to sit together and ground ourselves before we start the practice. So perhaps I'd like to just share with you what I think yoga is. Many of you will know the 8 limbs of yoga. So for me, yoga is compassion and yoga is truth. Yoga is not stealing, and it's the right use of energy, and it's also non-attachment. Yoga is cleanliness, contentment, and self-discovery. It is self-study and it is self-surrender. Yoga is movement and stillness. It is strength and receptivity. Yoga is breath. It is the turning inward and the tuning in. It is sustained concentration. Yoga is meditation, and it is a return to wholeness. It's the uncovering of the true you, which at its core is loving kindness. So we'll just wait for everybody to come to a seated position. And then I'm going to describe setting myself up initially for Babbling Brook. So with Babbling Brook, you are the shape of water. You might take a blanket and place that onto the ground. So I'm going to move you down to here and to level with the floor and show you what a Babbling Brook might look like. Taking a blanket to fold and lie back onto, taking one for your neck, as long as you are happy to have that support and be open in the throat. And then my bolster here for my legs. So there's an openness here at the belly, an openness here at the chest, and an openness here at the neck. Unusually the head is hanging backwards. And then it's just a question of letting yourself go into that place. So there is Mountain Brook as one option. And if you are not wanting to be on your back, you're wanting to be somewhere else, then something like a supported child with your blanket or your pillows and blankets stacked up on top of each other in front of the knees, and then just resting onto that place is another alternative. If this is the place that you have chosen, then during the next 5 minutes, I'm going to advise you to switch your head so that you are spending half the time with one cheek to the blanket and half the time with the other cheek to the blanket. So just giving ourselves a moment to set ourselves up into where we want to be. We're going to be here for 5 minutes before we move on to our 10-point practice. And during that time, I'm going to read you a little bit of poetry, put on a little bit of music for the 5 minutes. So I'm assuming that you have now found your place on the earth, feeling into the connection that your body makes with the earth, and letting go. Without trying to change anything, just feeling into the breath. And recognizing that the breath is both your friend and your teacher. So breathing smooth and even through the nose. Go into this poem is called What Would Happen by Jeff Foster. What would happen if you removed the word anxious and just paid attention to those flickering sensations in your belly? What would happen if you took away the concept lonely and simply became fascinated with this heavy feeling in the heart area? What would happen if you deleted the image sick or broken or bad, and you just got curious about the tightness in the throat, the pressure in the head, and the ache in the shoulders? What would happen if you stopped looking for solutions and checked to see if there was actually a problem? Come out, storyline friend. It's not true. It never was true. Commit sacred awareness to every single living moment. Come closer to yourself now. Bring warmth to the tender place inside. Infuse sensation with the light of attention. In the light of your grace I walk. 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 In the light. So if you've had your head to one side, then I'd recommend you shifting it slowly, placing the other cheek onto your supports. In the light of your grace I So we're coming to the end of our 5 minutes in that first restorative place. So whatever you need to do with your body in this moment, perhaps a little movement to fingers and toes, perhaps a little movement from the head from side to side. Then beginning to breathe a little deeper. Shifting any supports, bolsters, towels, blankets out of the way. If you're on your back, perhaps bringing your knees into your chest. And preparing ourselves for our 10-point practice. So making a choice as to whether you're going to be lying down. That's probably the preferable place. Let me show you where the practice asks you to be. It's a question of finding yourself in constructive rest with your feet a little wider than usual and your knees coming together.
placing your hands on your belly and doing it in such a way that your elbows are touching the floor. So if that requires for your hands to be separate, then do so. So we can feel into the points of contact, which are our feet, our buttocks, our mid-back, 2 shoulders, 2 elbows, and the back of the head. You can have a blanket over you, under you, at the neck, or you can choose to take a seated position and just adjust the practice using whatever points of contact there are on the floor as your portals to letting go and as with all yoga, we're going to use the breath as an aid. And we'll be imagining that wherever we take our attention, we're breathing into that space. Visualizing that we're breathing into the pores of our skin and bringing our breath and our awareness throughout the various places that we move in our body. So first of all, just connecting and feeling the earth underneath you, solid and supporting, and letting your body settle into that feeling. Feeling the upholding support of the earth under you as you relax and open and become too receptive. If you're in the lying down position, we're reconnecting with an infant posture. And we are more able to activate the state of being that goes along with it. But however you are, notify your body to completely let go. Release whatever tension it is carrying and surrender back into the earliest and most open of all post-birth human states. Reawakening the somatic sense and then taking your attention to your feet. Put your breath into your big toes. Just try to feel them. In this practice, we do it bilaterally, so feeling into both big toes, breathing into all of the pores in the big toes. Then noticing any sensations that you have there. It doesn't matter how much or how little there is for you, just try and feel more and more of whatever is. Feel the temperature, hot, neutral or cold. Breathing in, try to feel the overall mass of the big toes. Feel into the mass at the bottom of the big toes, then the sides, then the top of each toe. Can you feel the hardness of your toenail? Can you feel the main body of the big toes? Can you feel into the bone? Do you feel any discomfort or achiness or sharp pains? Just take a little time to develop this feeling. And as you breathe into your big toe, at some point you may notice that you're actually anxiously holding on or gripping even in your toes. So breathe your awareness into your big toe and begin to feel whatever you may be holding on to. Where do you feel that tension? And as you open your awareness into the awareness of the big toe, you can begin to relax that tension. Let the tension drain down into the earth. So the process of release is also a process of relaxation. And through the process of relaxation, through letting the energy down into the earth, we connect with the energy of the earth. Releasing in this way connects us with the primordial ground of the earth and deepens the connection. Notice the tension around the joint. Notice the tension as where the big toe enters into the foot. And observe here that you have any opportunity to release and relax. And as you breathe into your big toe, release all the tension in your feet, even in your thighs, creating a flow as you draw the tension down from the rest of the body through the big toe and into the earth. You may notice that your breath may slow down. And then move on to your second toe. Breathe into the pores of the second toe. Take the time to explore the different parts, the soft pad underneath. Tap into the sides of the toe, the top of the toe. See whether you can uncover any tension there and release the energy down into the earth. Then move along to the middle toe. Breathing through the pores of the middle toe. You may find it a little bit more difficult to feel into that middle toe rather than the big toe and the small toe. But the big toe and the small toe are still in the field of awareness. Connect into whatever sensation you may find and notice any tension, how it actually extends back into the foot, and how you can release and relax that middle toe. And as you move along, you can always come back to the big toe and the second toe and see whether you can release and relax them a little bit more. Perhaps you can take your attention into the front of the big toe, a place that has been knocked many times and may hold the somatic memory of being stubbed. Perhaps now you can let that go and find any tension into the front, into the end of the second toe. Does it have the same feeling as the first toe, as the big toe? And as you begin to do this, a little back and forth, you'll notice that there are opportunities to relax and let go throughout the body. The body itself wants to release. And the minute we begin to invite the release in our feet, it happens elsewhere. Working with the feet beautifully instigates this process because all of the meridians in the body run through the feet. So by working with the feet, we're getting into the whole of the body. So now moving on to your fourth toe, again, bring some awareness, breathing through the pores of the fourth toe. Make that deliberate move away from the third toe into the fourth. And this toe might feel even more hidden and take even more time to sense. Breathe into the pad of the fourth toe at the bottom, then to the sides, then to the front of that fourth toe. perhaps into the nail and into the bone. Take plenty of time with each toe until you find yourself developing this experience of sensation. Taking time with the process of release. And as you release your tension in your feet, you're beginning to soften the boundary between the darkness of your body and the brightness of your conscious mind. Between the limitless unconscious and the bounded conscious mind. And in doing so, in a most gentle and natural way, you're softening the barrier against feelings and experiences that you have been avoiding, denying, or repressing. Now take your attention into that baby toe. Feel the soft pad underneath, feel the sides, feel the top, feel the tip. Feel the hardness of the nail, feel the bone. Finding any tension and letting it go down, down, down into the earth. So now take the opportunity to check in with all 5 toes. Checking in with any further opportunities to release. And then come to the ball of the foot. Begin with the part of the foot right behind the toes, just where the toes enter the feet. And notice whether there's any holding on and tightness at the junction. See if you can find that. And as you go through the junction on each toe, pay the attention, discern, breathe into it and release it. With that big toe, the second toe, third, fourth, and that baby toe. And then explore further back into the ball of the foot. Initially looking for bare sensation, then looking for tensions, and then finally letting go. And the more time you spend relaxing your feet, the more you'll feel other areas in your body suddenly presenting as tense. And there's an invitation here to release those parts. Then come into the arch of the foot. This is another place where there's lots of holding. You might feel the brittleness and rigidity. Breathe into it and release. Then to the outside of the foot. Breathe into it, release and relax. Just notice how your breath is at this time. Notice you may forget to breathe fully and your breath may become a little shallow. So take a big, deep breath now. Just to make sure that you're breathing deeply. It might be like there's a river of tension flowing down through your feet and into the earth. Relax, 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 and let go. Then go into the interior of the foot, between the sole of the foot and the instep. Notice the density and the interior of the foot, right into the middle. You might find little crossroads and heavy masses of tension. See whether you can find them, breathe into them, and release them. And just let your whole foot melt. Completely relaxing your foot, letting it dissolve, melting down into the earth. Now let's begin to move upward, into the heel and into the ankles. Let any tension that you have in the heels and in the ankles and the ankle bones, both inside and out, just flow through the feet and into the earth. Then up to the shins and the shin bone, the muscle on the outside of the shin bone. Breathing into your shin bone and putting some awareness inside of it. Sometimes bones hold as much tension as soft tissue. Feel the density, feel the tension, and release it. Try and sense into the fibula, the small bone that runs down the outside of the lower leg. And this can be really tough to sense. And feel into the muscle on the outside of the shin bone. And feel the tension, breathing in and releasing down. Then into the calf muscle. And then into the knees. So that the whole of the lower leg on both sides is completely relaxing and surrendering the tension. And again, you may notice the impact higher up into your body. Check both legs from the soles of your feet to your knees. And make sure that you're not missing any opportunity to release a little bit more. And so there we have releasing through the first 2 portals of the 10 points, the feet. Now we're going to move to the second points, the buttocks on both sides. It's the same process as we went through the feet. So feeling into points 3 and 4, the right buttock and the left buttock, but feeling both buttocks at the same. So doing this in a bilateral way, feeling them touching the earth, breathing into your sits bones, and feeling all the sensations in as much detail as you possibly can. Noticing the tension, then releasing and relaxing and letting go. Using your buttocks as the access points into the earth. And then coming to the perineum. There's generally a fair bit of trauma here for everyone. So gently listen to your body. Relax and release. The anal area, the interior of the lower belly, the region of the genitals, then the pubic bone, and the whole of the pelvic cavity, including the hips on the outside. See whether there's any tension. Work slowly and carefully in each place. The inside of the thighs, the psoas muscle joining the upper body with the lower body, running through the pelvic cavity to the inside of the lumbar spine. Feel into the whole of the pelvic cavity. Where do you find the tension? See where you're holding it on and release it and let it go. You may begin to notice the emotional tone as you do this work. Going slowly and gently and listening to your body. Your soma wants you to be set free, to live for your sake and for the sake of life. And so we move on to point 5. The mid-back. This is the place roughly below your solar plexus. And the exact location may feel different for each of us. Whatever feels most appropriate for you. Where do you feel most energetically connected with the earth? Breathing in, feeling the sensations. Breathing core of your skin. And then feeling the tension. And letting that tension go. Then coming up into the belly. Let the tension in the front of the belly drift back, melt down through the mid-back into the earth. And then to the chest. And all the way from the solar plexus up to the mid-chest, the chest in the front. Just release and let the energy sink down. Then come to the midpoint in the back. So that we're releasing the energy down through the solar plexus, through the midpoint of the back, touching the earth. Just reviewing and sensing and feeling and taking any opportunity to relax a little further. Then coming to the shoulder blades, points 6 and 7. Set your awareness into your shoulder blades. Breathe into the pores of the skin around your shoulder blades. Into the interior of the upper body. Then just below them. Then to the feeling the sensations and the tension. Feeling that tension and relaxing it down, down, down into the earth. With every rise and fall, every ebb and flow. Then coming to points 8 and 9, which are the elbows. Making sure that your hands are on your lower belly and the elbows are touching the earth. Let the attention be drawn into the fingers. Breathing through the pores of the skin in the fingers, the hands, the wrists, the lower arms. Feeling the tension drain down from those fingers, those hands, through the wrists, through the lower arm, and down into the elbows. And then from your shoulders, upper arms, down through the elbows and into the earth. And now checking in with the whole body, everywhere except for the head. Scanning your awareness throughout the inside of the body. Are you able to let go of any point further? Any greater awareness, any opportunity for greater integration, greater health, greater well-being. Finding any residual pockets of tension, connecting with them and just letting them go. And then finally to the last point, which is your head. Check in with the forehead, cheeks, nose, teeth, jaw, tongue, sides of the face, ears, scalp. Breathing into each place, taking time with each part until everything melts. Paying particular attention to the whole of your face, as the face carries your ego identity and structure within it. Taking your attention to your eyes and your eye socket, the backs of your eyes, the optic nerve. Taking all of our attention there, relaxing and letting it go. The eye is the microcosm of the macrocosm of the whole body. The tension that we hold in our eyes is very much bound up with the tension that we hold in the whole of the body. And the eye can be the access point for the entire body. So just completely relax your eyes. Then onto the upper lip and the lower lip. Let the whole face melt down. They say that the Buddha's face is unimaginably beautiful. And that's because his face, every aspect, surface and depth, was completely and utterly open, transparent and relaxed. Moving on to your eyebrows. Let your face just be like putty, dissolving, softening, losing its shape completely. And then to the top of the head. Let the energy flow through the brain, out the back of the head, down into the earth. Instead of using your head as your thinking place, let it be a somatic feeling place. Let your awareness now penetrate all 10 points together. Feel the whole of your body as one whole. Breathe into all the pores of your skin throughout your entire body, all at once. Scan your body, notice your awareness. Can you sense any stillness? Attend to each part of the body with energy, commitment, and devotion. And if your mind wanders, as it's bound to do, just come back to your body, feeling the body as a whole, just being there and relaxing. Letting everything go. Maintaining some level of attention during the process and looking for places where we're holding on. And as we let go of the egos in position and holding, we're able to find a natural alignment. Now that we've been through each of the 10 points and sense the body as a whole, Take a little time to luxuriate in it. Taking whatever time you like, just to lie there, feeling whatever you're feeling, exploring whatever's coming up. And then when you're ready, we're going to resume a seated posture. But bring that same relaxed sense into that seated posture. So taking your time in the way that you want to move, slowly and gently, perhaps shifting to one side or the other. Moving and sensing and feeling. Trying to stay with that quiet, still mind that you have created. Finding a seated shape, whatever that may look like, in your own time. And when you plug yourself in, down into the earth. Find your place of ease. And then if you choose, you can bring your hands together at the breastbone. Center of the chest, the coming together of left and right. And as they come together, gather all of your resources into your heart. We are honoring and celebrating this moment. Posture of composure, of returning into one's heart. Connecting left and right hemispheres, masculine with feminine, logic with intuition, strength and tenderness. A return to wholeness. The thumbs gently tucked into the sternum, as if we were ringing the doorbell of the heart. Shoulder blades open, feeling some space under the armpits. And then if we choose, bring your hands up to our third eye and bowing to each other to say namaste. I'm hoping everybody enjoyed that. I'm hoping that those with any ailments
found some comfort and ease in the posture that they were able to take. It's been a real pleasure to join you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think you're all unmuted, apart from Fiona. You guys like to say something? That's lovely. I don't know how I'm going to go on from that, though. I've got the next session to do.
Well, we can take a little break. I'm sure we can have a little. We are having a break. No, can't we? You can do a few laps around the garden.
I know. I can chop some wood. No, I'm on again at 3:30, so that's fine. Yeah.
Cool. And Barbara, how was that for you?
Oh, that was good. Thank you. I find I haven't done the 10-point practice for quite some time, but I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I do it on my side, lying down, which is a little bit weird, but it was still, yeah, I found it really lovely to do. So thank you.
Pleasure. It's I teach yoga in rural parts of New Zealand, and I'm finding when I first started to teach, I had this misconception that people purely wanted a physical practice, and more I'm finding that people are wanting meditative practices. So I'm enjoying bringing this into my classes at the moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's great.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Fiona. As I said, I was introduced to this by a mutual friend with Paul, Deanna Wells. She was our meditation teacher and yoga teacher training, and I don't excuse myself that I do use some of the words from the original practice, how I saw it written down, because I think that's just so beautiful. The whole, the boundary between conscious and unconscious, those sort of words are I think important to bring to the practice, eh?
How was that, Sarah?
It was great. I've never done that one before. It's a new one for me.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
really good.
Awesome.
I think I'm gone to sleep though.
I'm sure it works a little bit like Nidra does, in that your unconscious mind will still be listening afterwards.
Yeah, it was very good.
I'm just going to say, stop the recording in a second, just to say thank you, and so people can chat, not being recorded. But thank you so much, Emma. And we've got 3:30, me doing some bone yoga. We're going to look at the lungs and the heart. I'm going to show you some dissections of the heart, so you can see it in relationship to the lungs as we're moving, because it's awesome. So there'll be a little bit of that. And then we've got Sandra doing some yoga nidra at the end, and something else I can't quite remember because my brain's got a bit fried at the moment. So I'm just going to turn the recording